Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Mother, hold our hand and take us across from unreal to real. Open our wisdom and the eyes to notice what is not real, what is not argumentative, and confuse our mind with I, me, and myself, and my thoughts and my ideas and my mind. Take us from ignorance to wisdom. Mother, take us from death to immortality. The body shall die, body will grow old, the body will change. Mind will change too, but I, the Supreme Self, the Soul, I am Atman Brahman, remains Prajnana Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, the ancient Mahavakyas will remain. Om. I invoke the Divine Mother, all the gods and gurus of all religion, Mahavatar Babaji, the Deathless Master, Mother Saraswati, to speak through us and give us an enlightenment through my voice today. Our prayers to Gurudeva Paramahansa Yogananda, Charya Sri Sri Teshwar Giri, Sri Sri Lahiri Mahasaya, our Gurudev Sri Sri Swami Vivekananda, Holy Mother, the Trinity, Paramahansa Ramakrishna, to be in our voice, to guide us, to protect us. Now is the season of Jesus' kingdom of heaven is always there. And right now in the midst of the birthday just 2 days ago. Jesus Christ, many of you may have heard. Many of you heard about many Indian sages, rishis, the great gurus have done miracles. You have read many such miracles in Autobiography of Yogi. Paramahansa Yogananda is writing, the birth of this second coming of Jesus Christ, awaken the Jesus in your heart, in which he's talking about a beautiful of the miracles that the Jesus Christ used to do. And Paramahansa Yogananda's explanation, why did he do it? It is mentioned in the book of Matthew. In Luke, he's talking about Jesus Christ awakened the dead. The girl who laying dead, parents come running to Jesus, oh Jesus, help us. And he showed it to the people that if you are pure, if you are poor in spirit, that means no ego. Spirit, when it is you're rich in spirit, you think, I know everything. I am the one. My mind, my ego is better. And I want that kind of a guru who knows everything. And he should be tall and fair and long hair like Jesus Christ, and should be like Paramahansa Ramakrishna, Buddha, Vivekananda, Jesus Christ. Then only I will. Why? Because I am the best disciple that my guru can have. That's called so-called richness in spirit, egoism. When you are poor in spirit and when you are pure, purity like a child, Jesus Christ showed it to the world. You will have the mercy and the kindness of God. And then even those which is unbelievable, unheard of, unthinkable, could easily happen, and instantly came alive the girl child who was declared dead by the doctor. Two blind men came and cried, "Oh Jesus, oh Lord, help me, you are Son of God. I'm blind from birth. I want to see this world." Jesus asked them, "Do you believe that I can heal you? Do you believe?" In other words, Jesus asked them, "Do you have faith in me that I can heal you?" They said, "Yes, Lord." He said, "As thy faith goes, may that happen to thee." And instantly they could see the world. So there is a beautiful message in this for you and me in this holy time of the kingdom of heaven, which is within us, which is within everyone, within our children, our partner, our parent, our friends, to the poor. How do we get this purity? Why is there so much of suffering in the world today? And this is the question has been hounding. If it is so, Jesus Christ could do. Why is it you and I, many rishis have done, many saints have done it time and again. Why is it you and I are not doing or can't do? Have you noticed a parent, child, 8.5-year-old daughter, suffering away, may possibly will die and did die. If the mother had the power of the Jesus, the child would not die. Child would go ahead and be living because mother would transform that power. Then why is the suffering? This question has been plaguing all religion. Buddha has talked about there are 4 sufferings and there are 8 pathways. Follow them. There is a cause for suffering. There is the end of suffering. There is an answer, and you could have that answer. Same is in Jesus Christ. In the theory of karma, past lives will bring in. And there is, Vedanta too, is talking about that you could transcend that. So, what is it? How do we go about it? And we all think, if God is so great, and God is so benevolent, and God is so powerful and loving and caring, then why is there suffering? A mother who is all powerful, father who is all powerful, and loving and caring, will mother allow the child to suffer? No. Then why is God doing that? And this is the question which has been plaguing people from thousands of years, and it's going on. You and I need to find. So, if you look back in the Babylonian time, and even before that, Noah's Ark. What was God? Strong, powerful, just God. He said, this human race right now is creating trouble. They're not following the righteousness. So, let me create a great flood. And he told Noah to build an ark. And in that Noah's ark, Noah collected 2 animals of each kind and the plants and everything. And he God flooded the whole earth, killed everybody, excepting these Noah's ark lived, to start a new world. In the Babylonian time, if you go through, I don't recollect the name, just like Noah, there was another person. He was asked to do the same thing. And he did the same. And similarly, the flood was there, and it was, why? At that time, God said that this human race makes too much of noise. It's disturbing my rest and sleep and tranquility. I'm going to destroy them. And he did destroy. So now, in other words, if God is like a tyrant, a dictator in the sky, he has all the power, but maybe not all the love for you and me. So, what does God do? Continue to do dictatorship and destroy. That is one theory. The other theory is that God is kind, is loving and caring and also powerful. Then why is there suffering? You and I believe in theistic religion, God is so. God is kind, God is loving, God is caring, God is always there. Sarvavyapi, Anantam, Advaitam, our mother. Then why is the suffering? Think. So, if you reflect and put your sincere focus, concentration, you will see that whether the God is a dictator and is coming down and ruling the people, and God doesn't care whether the people die. After all, I'm the one, and some will die, some will live. All God is all loving and powerful and caring. Yet there is suffering. If the mothers and the fathers were benevolent and omnipotent and omnipresent like God, then people will not suffer in their own family. So what is changing? So consciously reflect, what is changing is not the God is changing, but our idea of God is changing. Our concept of God is changing over thousands of years. And in which there is a great professor who's written this book. His name is Arthur Herman. You can Google him. He's written The Problem of Evil in Indian Thoughts. Problem of Evil in Indian Thoughts. He is talking about Indian theology, in Indian philosophy. He's talked about 23 answers why there is suffering. That problem of evil. Evil is suffering. Goodness, God is loving, caring, protecting, and making us grow and prosper and be peaceful and happiness and joy. And evil is the one which is creating all the problem. So, Professor Arthur has gone ahead and created 23 answers. I will talk about a few of them. None of them would overwhelm you. It will underwhelm you because none of them are very satisfying answers. Let's say the one is talking about God is testing us. Now, if it is so, if God is testing us, how is God testing a baby? Why should a baby suffer and baby die in mother's womb? Why should the mother have an abortion? Why should a young baby born just 1 month old, 6 month old is dying? So that doesn't gel. What about animals? What about that lion and the tiger leaping onto the deer? Isn't the deer suffering? Why is that suffering? What about that lizard who is trying to catch an insect? Or a grasshoppers. I don't know if you have seen this in the grasshoppers. The female grasshoppers, after mating, eats up the male grasshopper. Kills it, eats it up also. Isn't there suffering? So why are those? How do you explain with this theory? Second theory, Professor Arthur is talking about. God is testing us. Two, God is building our character. Testing us. Second is building our character. So that you say, no, God is making me suffer, God is making me strong, My life is full of hurdle. I have to face it, so I'm stronger, so I can face the future one. So, how is God again going back to the building character of a baby, or of that insect, or of that butterfly, which is being killed by the bird? What has the butterfly done? Isn't it? What has the eggs done in the high treetop in Amazon forest, treetop with no branches, but there are snakes which knows how to climb up that tree and goes and eats the egg or the chick when the mother is away. So what do the birds do? It's amazing, nature's protection. That tree in which they make the nest, it has a certain secretion which burns the skin of the snake. And it's very high up. Must be 150 feet, 200 feet tall. I've seen that. It's amazing. What the birds do, they come, huge tree trunk, they come and poke at the tree at 3, 4, 5 holes like that all around, and that starts to secrete juice. Can you imagine? And when the snake comes up climbing, it climbs through that polished thing also. It has got special climbing power with the scales and whatever. It climbing. When it comes in contact with the juice, its skin starts to burn so much, it loses the grip and falls off. Just imagine. But see, there is suffering both ends. The snake is also suffering. It has to eat. The birds are suffering. The chick is suffering. What kind of building character theory is that? Another theory of Professor Arthur Herman is karma theory of karma. And out of 23 theory, he goes on to say, possibly this is the most appropriate theory. That is why there is suffering. That is, if you do good, you have good effect. If you do bad, you'll have to suffer. Swami Vivekananda said one on karma theory. He says, there is never a blow which has no cause behind it. Never a blow. Somebody boxes me. Behind that box, I must have done something. So, you all have heard that famous film, no? That why is the Bahu suffering and why was the Saas bhi kabhi Bahu thi? Isn't it something like that? The Saas suffered as a Bahu, so now she is making the Bahu suffer. And that Bahu will make, and it continues on and on and on. This karma theory is, but there are a lot of holes in that. And he has found, Professor Arthur has gone ahead and found holes in the karma theory also. So what is it? We need to have an answer. And there are answers. And in this answer, what we need to search for, think for Holocaust. Millions of people died. What was the reason for that? Look at the tornado, hurricane, Betsy in America, New Orleans, massacred, everything. People died and thousands were homeless and made a huge country suffered totally. Tremendous problem. So, why is the suffering? Answers, we must have the answer and we should know the answer. In which Ramakrishna is talking about, it is there in Kathamrita, one of the devotees asking him the same question. Why is there suffering? The Paramahansa Ramakrishna explained to him various ways, and he said eventually the Bhakta was not happy. Eventually, Paramahansa Ramakrishna said that it is God's Leela. It is his play. So the devotee says in Bengali, ভগবান খেলছেন আর আমরা মরি. He is playing and we are going to die. Death to us. What kind of a play is that? What kind of a God is that? Notice the concept of God. Now Paramahansa Ramakrishna said something, and which we are now coming towards understanding the concept on the Vedanta way. You recollect last time we talked about understanding Bible, the Sermon on the Mount, Bible, Jesus Christ, to his closest of disciples, he had taken them and talked about it, understood it through Swami Prabodhananda Ramakrishna, or a very senior monk. He had written Sermon on the Mount in the Vedanta way understanding. Same thing now we are understanding the God theory through the Vedanta way. The Paramahansa Ramakrishna asks him in one sentence at the end, and he said, in Bengali, he said, Amra Mori, meaning we all are dying. He asked a question. He nodded his head and he asked him, beautifully explained in Gospels of Ramakrishna, Kathamrit by Master M. Tumi ke? Who are you? And now you and I will reflect back into our Mahavakyas. Aham Brahmasmi, main hi Brahma hu. So, these Mahavakyas, remember from various Upanishads, Rig Veda, Aitareya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, we talked about the Mahavakyas. Prajnana Brahman is talking about Lakshana Vakya, takes us to the direction, guides us, giving us the answer to the suffering. Aham Brahmasmi, main hi Brahma hu. The Gurudev Father is telling Shaunaka, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. We are learning, I am Atman Brahman, Anubhava Vakya, I am the one. So these are, what are they doing, these Mahavakyas from various Upanishads, is giving us what we don't have. Removing the ignorance. What we don't have is the knowledge. So giving us the knowledge, giving us the awareness, elevating our reflective consciousness, which is influenced by the mind, and getting the light from the consciousness. Consciousness is ever pure, but reflective consciousness is getting influence from the mind. It doesn't get impure. Consciousness cannot be impure, but it is there giving the awareness to the mind, and the mind, because of its past karma, has built up its ways of thinking, thought processes, its memory collections, its intelligence. It's collecting all those data and making some idea and say, this is my idea, I thought. It can only be changed when you have those Viveka, Vairag. Vivekananda's Viveka, that's why he was named Vivekananda. Vairag, which automatically come with Viveka. And then Shama Dama, Uparati, Samadhana, Titiksha, Shraddha, Mumukshatta, Mumukshatta, Mumukshatta. So, you are saying the purity will come automatically when you develop these natures. And with that, your understanding of that ignorance, waving it off from us, it's happening. The understanding of God, the concept of God in our mind has evolved. Now for thousands of years, is talking about from Gaudapada to Shankaracharya about 1400 years ago, is giving us, and we have gone through Drigdishya Viveka, Aparukshanabhuti, Mandakya Upanishad, Vedanta Sara, Bhagavad Gita's Katha. We talked about Today we touched upon also the Jesus Christ. Awaken the Jesus Christ in your heart. The second coming of Jesus Christ by Paramahamsa Yogananda. All these are to take away the suffering. What is it? It giving us what? The wisdom, the knowledge. To do what? Remove the suffering. So, as per Vedanta, when you say self-realization, Atma Bodh, Prajnana Brahman, when I become Buddha, the one who knows, the awakened one, all these are what? It is talking about now I know. I transcend the suffering. It doesn't mean transcend the suffering, meaning that pain will just vanish and it is like an antibacterial or like a painkiller. No. Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, it is there in Kathamrita. In Kashipur, suffering, Hari Maharaj, Turiya Maharaj later on, comes in the morning and says, Thakur, kemon acho? Thakur, how are you feeling? Thakur says, my throat is paining a lot, I can't eat at all. And just imagine Hari Maharaj at that time says something, can't think of it, telling to a terminal cancer case patient, saying, but to me it appears you are in bliss. You are in Ananda. And what did Paramahamsa Ramakrishna do? He went into an outrage. He got angry. Did he say, what's wrong with you? Can't you see I'm suffering? He didn't. He laughed. And he said, in Bengali, he said, Shala dhore feleche. The rascal has caught me. In what has he done? His pain is not gone. His cancer is not healed. But he's transcended that. He realizes and doesn't allow that body, that mind to affect who he is. I am Atman Brahman. He knows that. He's the knower of Brahman now. It doesn't affect. He still leaves his body, which is affected by cancer. But he's still there. That supreme awakened Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, the Holy Trinity, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, Paramahamsa Yogananda, Yukteswar Giri Lahiri Mahasaya, our Mahavatar, Deathless Master, Babaji, all the gods and goddesses, Mother Kali, Divine Mother, they're all present. Sarvavyapi, Anantam, Advaitam. What is Vedanta saying? Right now, over here, right now in front of you and me, there. And this is what Jesus said, that if you have faith, do you believe I can? If you have that faith, then so shall happen to thee. It will happen to you. So Vivekananda says something very nice. You know, we have lots of desires. We keep crave, not just for iPhone 12 or Note 20 Ultra. There are lots of desires, endless desires. He's asking us to get away from the desire, control it. Desires come from vritti, from the mind. That comes from the past karma which is stored in the sukshma sharira, in the body. Remember, we have spoken about the annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manamaya kosha, jnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. Sukshma sharira goes with us along with the mind. The body dies, body is burnt away. But that is in a little bubble, stays, rests for a while, takes rebirth again and again and again. 4 lakh birth, depends on what evolution have you got. It may be just one birth. So many of you say, I don't believe this one birth stuff. Yes, it is difficult to believe. Your doubt is, you would love to, but you don't understand it. Just like we didn't understand it, let's say, 60 years ago, if I showed you that mobile and I said, come, use it, talk to your friend in America, you would find it difficult to believe. I think even 20, 30 years ago, you would not believe. Forget about 60 years ago. 600 years ago, did you know? Wright brothers' father, Wright brothers, Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright, who flew the first aeroplane, they believed and they desired and they flew also. But their father Just 18 days before, on 15th of November 1902, in an exhibition, science exhibition, the journalist asked the father after the inauguration, Mr. Wright only did the inauguration in London. What is your belief? Your sons have got a stall in the science exhibition. They say they're going to fly. Bishop Wright laughed and said, my sons do not realize that if God wanted us to fly, God would have given us wings and feathers. This statement is there in a black ebony in the London Museum, written in gold, to tell us how science had evolved, how concept of God is evolving too. It has evolved for India thousands of years ago, and 1400 years ago onwards, strongly through the Upanishad and Vedanta. But what has happened to you and I? Our concept of God is confused, ignorant. So what is Vedanta doing? Vedanta is giving us praptasya prapta. What is already we have, Vedanta is giving it to us. We are the Brahman. Tumi ke, who are you? Vedanta is giving us that. And nivritti se nivritti, Upanishadic Sanskrit, meaning what? What we do not have is relieving us from that. Understanding what we don't have. What we don't have is what? We don't have suffering. Nivritti se nivritti, giving us that no suffering, understanding, realization. Let's understand. Let me ask you a question. Everybody, simple question. Ready? We don't like suffering, right? Nobody wants COVID-19. Nobody wants loss of money or some old man, baby, or good friend suffering away, sickness, disease, isn't it? Tell me, my question is, when is it that you love suffering? You like suffering? When? When is it that you actually like suffering? Think. Tell me. Yes, it is in a film. You love suffering when you read a novel, when you see a suffering painting, and you say, what a beautiful artist. You are scared. You're enjoying that film, the horror film on the TV. You don't want to watch. You're scared. But you will still continue to watch. So you're actually loving that scene. Now, just think. What about dream state? When you're in dream, this is, remember Mandakya, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya, 4 states. Refreshing. Jagrat is right now, you and I are awake. I hope my talk is not putting it back to sleep. And then Swapna, dream state. In the dream, just think, you are transcending that Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, what he did in his Jagrat state. You are doing it in the Swapna state, aren't you? Whether it is sickness that you're imagining, where Janak Maharshi, Janak Maharaj, remember the story? Ye sach, wo sach. Remember the story? That he was suddenly woken up by the soldier. Maharaj, wake up, wake up. Our kingdom is being attacked. And he wakes up, he dresses up quickly, goes for a fight. And he loses miserably. And the new king says, look, because you have been an emperor and you have been a good one, I will not kill you. I'll let you go outside this place. But you're not allowed to drink a glass of water, take no food, no help from anyone. Anybody helps you, I'll kill them. Nobody helped him. And he went on to the other side, out of his kingdom. He saw he's very thirsty, 2.5 days he's taken to cross. He sees somebody distributing food. And as he goes, stands on the line, and when his turn comes, that guy says, finished, nothing is left. The Maharaj, Janak Maharshi, he says, why does it have to be me? And he looks and he finds little bit of gruel is there in one corner. He tells the guy, give me that at least. That guy says, who is this guy? He doesn't know he's Janak Maharshi. He scrapes it out and gives it in a pot, in a leaf. And as the Janak Maharshi takes it to go and sit under the tree, a kite comes and sweeps on top of it and makes it fall off to the ground. And Janak Maharshi is lying down on the ground and howling, why me? Why me? It happens to us, no? And suddenly, Maharani Queen is waking up. Maharaj, what's happened to you? What is why me? Why me? And Maharaj wakes up. He's dazed. He was very moved with the dream. And he looks around and he says, Ye such, wo such. Is this true or that was true? Imagine. Whole day continues. Then people goes around and calls his guru Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra comes and tells him, Maharaj, were you there? Were you there when you were suffering? He said, yes. He said, are you here right now when you're not suffering and you have this kingdom and so many people and the Maharani and the whole, all lot of comfort? He said, yes. So he said, now, wo such? Now, yes such. Tum hi such. Only you are true. And this is called transcending praptasya prapti. You are always there. Only thing you are not aware of it. You are ignorant. And you saying, how can it be? How can it be aham brahmasmi? Isn't it? Ignorance is the reason which has taken us off totally from our realization. And the only time you're enjoying suffering is in a movie, in a television, when you're reading a book, a story, in your dream. Think for a second. You're transcending it in the dream. Tiger is chasing you, dinosaur is chasing you, or suffering like Janak Maharshi, and then when you wake up and you say, oh, that was a dream. So what is Vedanta saying? This is not real. So you are doing your meditation in the practices, you are saying that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahme Vanapara. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. This world is in appearance of Brahman. The Brahman alone is appearing as this life. And how is that? How do we come out of it? If this is so, this is called the realization, transcending that. So you say, all right, okay, sir, I've understood. So how do I do that now? And that is where we are coming into Shravanam, Mananam, Nidityasanam. Just now you're Shravaning, listening, Shravanam. Go ahead, ask questions. These are some of the questions which came to me. I am answering, why is there suffering? That was the one question. One student who is a medical student, 19-year-old, and he says, in front of me, a mother lost her baby, 8.5-year-old. She couldn't. Just think, if mother had the power like the God, benevolent, omnipresent, omniscient, she would have saved the child. So why is the suffering? Was his question. And I am attempting to answer that as per what the great masters have spoken already. And in Vedanta, in Upanishad, it is not that you are quoting somebody. It is the ultimate truth. It is just that you know that you are a man or you are a woman. You know that you are so. You are whatever your name is, whoever is listening. So that realization and this realization, I am Atman Brahman. Tattvamasi, Father is telling you are that. Realizing that is the journey that we are doing. So, this Maya, which is taking us away. Remember, Maya has two qualities. One is avarana. So the rope in a darkened alley, remember our Vedantic example, looking like a snake. So you throw the light of knowledge and you see, oh, it's only a rope. So avarana, Maya, gives that covering. And projection, it projects, vikshepa, an image. So we are in that state right now. Right now, praptasya prapti, what we already are, through the Vedantic practice, through the Kriya Yoga practices, through bhakti, through karma. What does karma do? Takes away our selfishness. Selfless support, help. You say, I do. I am helping a lot of people. Yes, you're doing, but if you look carefully, think, dear devotees, dear bhaktas, think, you do help, you're a good devotee, but you're helping still just like everybody else in the whole life. What do they do? To do things to acquire what? Happiness. Acquire money, acquire health, acquire partner, have children, have kingdom, have palaces, have good business, have earning rate, happiness. And this is all out there. So this is why Vivekananda is saying, do not have a desire. Why? Because it will come true. Vivekananda is saying, if you truly live that life of purity and desire, it will come true. And then what's wrong with it? You will be bonded and will continue to grow from desire to desire to desire to desire. And this rope will continue with a golden chain or a silver chain or an iron chain. A chain is a chain, chain is a bond. And what do? Viveka, knowing, discriminating real to unreal. And then have that vairag, develop that through knowledge and through shama, calmness of mind, dhamma, controlling senses. It doesn't mean become a monk and run off to Himalayas. And uparati, get that energy back inside. Samadhana, apply it, Vedantic knowledge. Titiksha, I'm not going to give up. And Shraddha, whatever I'm learning must be something true. I may not understand it now. Let me ask question. And mumukshattam, mumukshattam, mumukshattam. I'm not going to give up till I get it. Like the bird sitting on the egg. So, we are coming to some understanding. Professor Herman's 23 answers is not going to satisfy you. That's why I said, not overwhelming, underwhelming. So when will you be satisfied? You need an answer. You need to know, to be aware, to be awakened. And that you will do, you will enjoy that suffering when you are not affected. Like in the picture, like in the dream, like in the storybook, like in a play or an art form, or somebody telling a story, or an enactment. You are not touched by it. So now, think, you're not touched by it in your dream. So you enjoy and relate to your friend and your partner. Do you know I had a dream like this? And you laugh at it also. And you may be saying, thank God it is not happening. When you're not touched by it. So when are you not touched by it? In call awakening state. I know it now. And that is called the Paramahamsa Ramakrishna's Leela. That is when you know. That is the time you're not suffering at all. So when you come to that state, there are quite a few of you I've been hearing. I was talking to quite a great extent. I was talking to today to Vijay, and Vijay Dodi was talking on a similar line, not to the full extent, and he's aware, but he's on the journey. Beautiful to hear. Each one of you are progressing more and more in awareness. And the more the awareness comes in, so Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Existence, Satya. Sat is always existing. Everything is existing. This is existing. My hand is existing. This is the physical existence. Jnanam, the wisdom, the knowledge. Anantam, infinite. Anandam, That is the definition of God in Taittiriya Upanishad is given. We had spoken at length in Aparokshanabhuti. Now, right now, the moment you realize that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, I'm going to play in this role. There is ultimate reality, that is absolute reality, and there is abstract reality, which is Vavahara and ultimate Satya, reality. We say, let us be real. So what is it? Transactional reality is the one that you are in the Jiva state, in the Jagrat state. We are playing that role. Know that. Know that I'm playing the role of a husband, of a father, of a mother, of a wife, of a daughter, of a son, of a professional, of a knowledgeable person. I don't know, I don't understand, I need to know, I need to understand. We are playing that role. Playing that role, but realizing ultimate journey is to understand, is to go towards that goal. And as you do that, transcend, like you realize this life is appearance of Brahman, which is Sat. So Jagat Mithya. It is. We are living in it. So how do you make it? How do you get across this projection of the Maya and realize it is not a snake, it is not a suffering? So praptasya prapti, which you don't have it automatically. Vedanta is saying you don't have it. You say to your mind, I am suffering. No, you are not suffering. It is not you. It is your body is, maybe. It your mind is, maybe. But mind is not you. That realization is going into transcending. The moment you do that, you become Brahmavid. And Vedanta is saying, knower of Brahman, Brahmavid, immediately receives whatever comes to your mind. The whole universe will come pouring down to give it to you. And you will have a detachment to it. Say, I don't want it. Swami Brahmananda in Mathura, Vrindavan, meditating in the Jamuna branch in front of his little hut. Some devotee saw him meditating, divinely enlightened. Brahmananda, he was the first president of the Ramakrishna mission, came down and put an expensive shawl in front of him. He was meditating. Meditating is the state you will realize you will know everything what is happening around you, even with your eyes closed. He knew, but he didn't open, he didn't look, he didn't smile. He continued to meditate. Another thief came and picked up that shawl and ran away. The devotee had gone. The thief came and ran away. Brahmananda, he was not bothered. It is like, remember I talked to you about a baby is lying down, 7, 8, 10 months old baby, lying. Mommy is gone for a bath. Mommy puts her a golden ornament next to the baby and goes for a bath. And suddenly a thief somehow opens the door. Nobody else is at home. Thief comes in. It's just to give you the understanding. He picks up all the gold and goes away. Baby is not crying. Baby is not bothered. Is the baby bothered? Brahmananda is not bothered too. And that is called Tumi Ke. Who are you? You are that. Praptasya prapti. And nivrittasya nivriti, the suffering doesn't exist. It goes away from you. Only when you transcend that suffering is called the realization. You will not be happy otherwise. With whatever explanation I give it to you, how to get out of the suffering. It will only give you when you transcend suffering. And transcending, you have to do something. Today only I was talking to, why this do? Why don't just let it happen? If you let it happen, your karma will continue to take you across the way the karma's results are supposed to be. You say, I'm okay, I'm happy. It's okay. Continue to live that way. Our journey of Vedanta is what? To understand, to realize, to have praptasya prapti, to express that divinity from within. It is occluded. Cloud is occluded. Cloud. covering up the blue sky. There are patches of blue. We need to remove that cloud of the ignorance, and that's the journey. That's why this session that we are doing right now, sadhana. The moment we understand that, the sadhana will automatically take away. So, self-realization is the end of suffering. A bhakta takes it, transcends suffering. It is another dimension that you're going to take across, another dimension on this real life itself. Question may come to your mind. All right, theoretically, I've understood Aham Brahmasmi. If I am the Brahman, I am myself a Brahman, who do I pray to? See, this question also came to me. I'm wanting you to realize, if you already know you are Brahman, you are Brahmavid, you are the knower of Brahman, you don't have to pray. But till then, you are Brahman theoretically. You know this is the mango. I have not eaten it as yet. To eat it, to know it, when you know it, you don't have to. But till that time, pray to whoever is your Guru, your Siddhya Devata or Devi, Mother, God, whatever you think, pray. Apply all the four. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, purify Bhakti Yoga, develop that tremendous faith and love for God, love for Divine Mother, love for your Gurus. Listen with Shraddha, whatever they have written down, practice them. And Karma, purify yourself, selfless work. Remove those desires and develop that detachment. And Jnana Yoga and Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga, you're practicing Kriya Yoga. Practice Kriya Yoga, the supreme Raja Yoga. And then Jnana Yoga, knowingness. I'm aware. I am that. I have to realize it. I know it now, but I can't understand it how. But there must be something in it. Let me practice these. Yes, you have to do something. If you don't do it, no spiritual practices is a folly, is a mistaken, is your mind is trying to hoodwink you. New Year resolution is coming up. Many of you are going to say, I'm going to do this. Maybe at 3:30 in the morning, I'm going to get up and do my meditation every day. And soon enough comes, the alarm bell is ringing, and consciousness, the reflective consciousness telling the mind, come on, get up. Mind is telling body, come on, get up. But body is like the elephant. Body is saying, you didn't consult me. You didn't ask me. I'm not going to get up. I need to sleep. I slept last night very late. And who wins? The body wins. Then what do? Give up? No. Train the elephant. Train the body. Don't give up. Giving up is easy. Divorce is easy. So remember, nivrittis and nivritti, take it away. And this is where it comes in, is the time of the Jesus Christ, which it says in the book of Matthew. Remember the last thing at verse 28 when we did the talk. Remember, blessed are the poor, because they shall witness the kingdom of heaven. This poor is not like, remember that gentleman wanted to learn Zen art, and the Zen master started to tell him about Zen, and he said, oh, I have already known about that book. He was not ready. So he's not poor. He said, be poor, be open, have Shraddha, respect to listen, sure ask question, challenge it, find out more, depth. Tomorrow we are going to have our Zoom sessions. Go ahead, ask questions and prepare those questions. Think about those. What are those ones which are still doubtful in your mind? So, the moment we go ahead and prepare, you will find automatically those doubts will take away. Your mind will have utter clarity. It has never happened that anybody who takes up the journey after weeks or after few weeks says there is no change in me. It can never happen. It has never happened. And that is why the spirituality has been the deepest science and always takes you across to higher and higher realm, to the higher world. Not practicing is our ancient past karma of lethargy, of negativity, of ignorance, of not knowing. We have to bring in knowledge and the wisdom and take us across to that. Remember, blessed are those, Jesus Christ is saying in Sermon on Mount, book of Matthew, blessed are those who are pure in soul, because they shall witness God. Blessed are those who are merciful, they shall receive the mercy. The wonderful. Pick it up sometime, read it, you can get it anywhere, understand it, the meaning of it. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. How can meek inherit the earth? We have been taught, born and brought up by you should be powerful, you should bully people, earn money, dominate people, rob the neighbors, rob people. Something like that we used to be told, no? You have to fight out your life. Nobody's going to gift it to you. Jesus is saying, blessed are the meek. This meekness is what? Is the no ego. Egoless. They shall inherit the earth. The whole kingdom of heaven is waiting to flood upon you. Bring up that purity. The essence, truth, satya. Hold on to truth. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. That's the basic first step of the definition of Ishvara. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. And when you practice it, purity comes in. Purity brings in viveka, brings in detachment, brings in shama dama uparati samadhana, titiksha shraddha. And then comes mumukshattam, mumukshattam, mumukshattam. I shall practice like the bird in sitting on the egg, not give up. When you're really thirsty, it doesn't matter whether in the pond there is a lot of plants and the water is covered with those plants. You will remove the plant. This is Paramahansa Ramakrishna's word. When you truly craving for God, you remove the plant and drink that water. Whoever may be the guru, the moment you're craving, you will get guru. Whoever that guru is, lap it up, what you get from the essence of that knowledge. Lap it up, drink it up. It will. With prayer, salutation, Om. Akasha Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Vayu Shanti, Agnyaya Shanti, Vanaspataya Shanti, Gau Shanti, Uttaradisha Shanti, Dakshinaya Shanti, Purvadesha Shanti, Paschimaya Shanti, Manaha Shanti, Chittaya Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Remember, last week we had talked about very famous statement of philosopher Bradley. Appearances are never real, and real never appears. You have to realize it. Jai Guru.